All right, Dre, we are live again. Another episode of the Way We See It Podcast. Cheers.
Welcome back, folks.
Welcome back. So, I got to ask, how was your guys' week? How's everybody's week been? How was your week?
Week ain't been too bad, man. Just trying to hang in there, taking everything in life day by day like everybody else, I'm sure. What about you? How's everything going?
Been decent. Nice weather.
See, we still ain't getting no comfortable chairs. I got all this ass.
Findthechair.com.
I know.
But don't. Somebody sent us some chairs. Just y'all got 2 bar stools or something sitting around the house.
Can we get like a Wayfair ad or something?
I'd
be down for a Wayfair ad.
Wayfair, what y'all got?
Somebody's
got a connection. Let us know. Just some comfortable chair. Maybe a back in the chair.
Oh, definitely the back. I got
improve my posture. Yes.
Yeah.
I may have it now too. I don't even know.
Feel like we over here trying to do the percolator.
What's that? Bob's Burger. What's that girl's name?
What is her name? Yeah, the girl with the glasses.
Trying to get my back to crack to feel better.
Oh man.
Oh shit.
I'm gonna think of her name. I'm gonna think of her name.
Is it Tiffany?
I don't know if it's Tiffany.
I've never seen the show, but I've heard people.
I don't know if it's Tiffany.
I don't know. I've never seen the show. I've seen the meme.
I find it hilarious, like when people do the silhouette challenge on TikTok, and like it go red and everything. Like what? I didn't expect that.
I had to find out her name. If y'all know, let me know in the comments. Somebody, I think it's Tiffany. I don't know.
It might be.
Or Lisa.
I don't know.
Sarah. I don't know. No idea.
I want to call her Becky, but I know that's false.
Oh yeah, it's not Becky.
Yeah.
I don't know. But so we got a topic today. Just I guess between some of the conversations we've had in the last shows and some of the things I've seen, just drew a good question in my mind. And I asked him to say, hey, look, how's this idea for the next show? What do you see are traits of a good leader or bad leader?
All right.
What makes a good and bad leader? And so let's start this off with the question, because I know you got questions to my question. I think a leader could be, as far as a coach, a team leader, a manager. If you're the leader of your group at school, that could be any level. If you're a parent,
drug dealer,
leader. What?
Somebody got to be the whole,
You're just an associate if you're a drug dealer.
Oh, okay.
That's okay. A pharmacist. No.
All right. So you got to be the connect.
Leader, yeah.
You got to be You got to be the connect. I learned that on Power, y'all.
Drug leader.
It's got to be something, right? Okay. Continue with the legal stuff.
Back to the legalities.
Right.
As your lawyer. No, like I said, it could be a leader across the board. It doesn't have to be one aspect. Like I said, it could be coaching or parent or just leader of a group at work. It could be anything. What are like traits of good and bad leaders?
Well,
and we've been on the leadership side. You are a parent. You have been a leader. You're starting a business. You are a mentor, like a role model for kids.
Side note, I really don't try to be a mentor or role model.
Oh, I know.
I just try to be myself, and it just happens that
every conversation we have with kids is like, don't do what we do.
Right. I don't try to be
what
that.
I say, not what I do.
People be like, you know what? Why don't you go hang out with Dre for the day and learn something? And I'm like, no, because you don't want your son opening a beer at 10 a.m. on a Saturday. Like, that's just not what we do. Not saying I do that or nothing, but I'm just saying. So good traits and bad traits for a leader.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking. Okay.
And I got some notes, like, things I think, but, just bouncing back and forth. I can start it if you want.
Yeah, let's have you start, because if I start, Delicious going to go on and on and on.
I thought you said delicious. Stripper number 1, you're up.
Right.
Delicious. Come on out. Tell us about leadership. Lead them ladies. No, so number 1, I said they have to be knowledgeable, and knowledgeable can go a couple different ways for a good leader. Knowledgeable could be toward the task or the subject at which you're leading, and it also has to be toward the team. You have to know who your strong people are, the weaker people, and just because they're weaker doesn't mean that they can't do the job. It just means how do you utilize them when stuff like that. But also, and I'm not sure which one's more important. I think that'd be a good question to ask is it more important to have a leader that knows, the work or the team?
I feel it's like if you know the work, you might be one of them people that you just want to do everything yourself. If the team's not,
there's a lot of older people in skilled job sets that like they do that.
Right, like you find that in like the trades a lot. Like the owners, contractors and whatnot of certain companies, they'll hire these guys or whatever. But if they don't really know those guys or know how they work or know how they learn and set together, then they end up just doing it themselves.
And then you never learn.
Right.
And then, 2 years on the job, they're like, oh, that kid ain't shit. Well, the kid has potential. You just didn't teach him anything.
Exactly.
So I think that would be a bad leader.
Right. But at the same time, it's like, on the other hand, you got people that's just like, okay, I done took my time teaching this person. I done, stood next to them while they try to do this and they just don't get it. But at the same time, like they come to work every day and like they're at least trying.
Yeah.
But they just suck at their job.
So I don't know. Like I'm 50-50 on which one's more important, but I think they have to have a balance of both.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be 50-50, but you have to really know the job to understand like, hey, how can people get over those obstacles and like when they're struggling, because you may have that struggle, but you may have seen other people have different struggles in that job, whatever, or task or whatever it is.
Right.
Again, or if you're a parent, you have a kid, a lot of times they're going to resemble one of the two parents growing up. It's like, yo, this was me when I was a kid. How did you get past that? And there's new obstacles these days that we didn't face, or they weren't as big then. It was just kind of like, get over it.
Right.
And now it's actually a thing where it's like, okay, we have to take our time.
Right.
Teach subtly, whatever. But I think if you have like a unit, multiple people, and you have less time to one-on-one teach somebody, like you just have to know skill sets and where people are comfortable and where certain people break down. And like that's important. And you can't like bash people for not knowing what you know.
Right.
If you've been doing this job for 20 years, you've been, in a position for a long time.
Right.
And they're 6 months in, you can't expect them to know what you know. You didn't know shit when you started.
Right.
Like, or maybe you did, but you grew up around it and they didn't. Like,
makes sense.
So I think, knowledge of the area that you're in, but also the team. How do you deal with people? Because you can be really smart. You can know what you're doing, but nobody wants to work with you if you're like an asshole all the time.
Right. So would you say a good leader had to follow first?
Or they have to understand how to follow. I think maybe not while they're leading, but at some point they had to have an understanding. Yeah, 100%.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like you before you can lead, you got to know what it's like to be in that person's.
Yeah, just to understand both sides.
Yeah, like I feel like you can't lead nobody if you ain't been there.
I think I've heard like natural born leader, and I think people skip that part where it's like they did learn, they did follow for a while.
Yeah,
but when they had their first chance to go out on their own, they did lead.
Right.
So like natural born leader doesn't mean you were leading the entire time. It means, your first opportunity to lead, you did well.
Right.
I think that's part of it.
That could even be on a scale too of like leading with, not even like a work or team like that. Could just be like with friends.
Yeah.
So like if you, going through high school, it's obviously a crazy time for everybody because you're figuring life out. You're trying to figure out the balance between, trying to find out, your first job and we're hanging out with friends and who your friends are and what you about to do. And so it's just like you got a group of friends that you're cool with in school and they, might be everything great, but, you leave school and they all want to go get high or something like that.
Yeah. Who are you trying to impress?
Yeah. So it's just like.
Are you in that leadership mindset where it's like, I don't want to impress anybody?
Right.
If they are impressed by what I'm doing, it doesn't really faze me because I have a mission. I'm trying to do this. This is my goal.
I'll come find me when you're done.
Right.
I'll be here.
Absolutely. And it's funny, I guess, looking back, like, people we were around 15 years ago who they were the shit back then.
Yeah.
And now you see them, it's like, well, what happened to you?
Right. Right.
I feel like that song Wanksta by 50 Cent. In high school, you was the man. Homie.
Man. Hey, I've been listening to a lot of 50 Cent lately. I've been listening to a lot.
What happened to you?
Man.
And like they, that's the fake it till you make it side of like, oh, like I got this.
Right.
And then like leading people down the wrong path.
You got other people though that I thought, was gonna go down certain paths and surprised the hell out of me.
It's kind of odd. I've seen people that have gone down the wrong path like very far off of that path, and then they've gotten it back together and they're doing very well now.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're a product of your environment to an extent, but once you realize that you can be more than that,
right,
and you break that cycle,
you knew better, you do better.
Right.
That's what they say, right? If you knew better, you do better.
And that's where if you just took your potential and went with it versus like taking a step back and being a follower when you were probably meant to be a leader a long time ago, I think that's important.
Right.
But I think a good leader has to be knowledgeable. And I've been in situations where the people in charge don't know what's going on. And it sucks because like there's times when I know more, but they're making the calls. And like in some of those situations, I would have rather just taken over. In other positions, I'm like, this is on them.
Right.
But at the end of the day, I'm the one that's going to look bad because they made the call. We did what they said. And what we did wasn't right.
See, I go to a place every day where there's a lot of leaders in certain positions, and they just, hey, whatever you think is going to happen, like, you go for it. If whatever you say is supposed to be, it's supposed to be. I'm just going to do me.
Yeah, and some people are so stubborn, like they've been doing this their way for so long, but times have changed. And now that things are different, you don't know how to deal with it. You just stick with those same decisions, and your team is slowly leaving, and nobody wants to stand by you because you just don't care.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's a sign, and you should be changing your ways. I think knowledgeable, again, you have to go back to, you have to see what's going on and learn how to take the next steps to do something right. Like, okay, this isn't working anymore. We milked that counselor's dry.
Yeah.
Let's do something else. And instead they just kind of fall back, and that goes with both though. Like knowing, the stream that you're in and the team that you have working for you.
Makes sense, yeah.
And if you're not trying to learn both and understand that, like me as a manager, I always try to know everybody that was working for me. And I never said
name. By name?
Well, by name, I want to know, hey, like, where do you go to school now? What are your interests? What do you want to go to school for? Because a lot of those kids were in between. So, hey, look, okay, when are you going to college? What do you want to go for? What's your interest? Have you had any other jobs?
You're very in-depth.
Why not?
I mean, I ain't saying why not. I'm just saying you're very in-depth.
But then, like, I would check up on them later, like, hey, how's this going? Is that still your interest? Because people's minds change.
Yeah, I can't remember all that.
You stay up on them. Like, I mean, I made that a thing for me. Like, it was just important to me.
So, like, when I was running gates, I was in charge of between 40 and like 57 people per game. But it was, every day was different. So I got to the point where, like, I'm not trying to be rude. I will know your name, and we'll, throughout periodically, like, we'll talk, and throughout the season, we'll get to know each other. But for right now, your name is number 1. And here's where I need you to go.
2275, come here.
Over here. Yeah. 2's here. Like,
no, I get that. And, like, it wasn't a week 1. Yeah. I know all of this. It took time because I have a bad memory. But
do you?
Yeah. You texted me and said I'm coming over. I said, for what? I forgot about the show. But yeah, I just made it a thing. And like it was important to me. And I didn't just do it because I felt like I had to or anything like that. I didn't have to, because people that were above me didn't know any of this information.
Right.
And when I'd tell them that, they were like surprised. I'm like,
right.
Oh, you didn't know? Like, well, no, we had no idea. Well, take the time to talk to people. Learn who people are. Like, when they see you care, they'll care a little bit more.
Yeah.
And you want somebody to work a little bit harder. You need a little bit more out of them.
Mm-hmm.
You can have a genuine conversation at that point.
Right.
Like, hey, listen, I'm asking you because I need this. I got you later. And like whatever it was that you can work with.
Right.
Maybe I saw you requested to leave early, in 3 days. I can finagle something between now and then, get you out of here 2 hours.
I can do that.
When you're the manager, the leader, you can work with people.
I mean, like, you can request to leave early. Like, in 3 days, I need to leave early on this
day.
Say
you have a dentist appointment. Or you got to pick your son up from school. Or, hey, listen, I need out a little bit earlier because of this.
Gotcha.
You can ask that. Not just, I'm trying to go.
I might say in my work, I'll be like, I got to go.
No.
Listen.
Like, it's fairly flexible. It could be flexible. And, hey, I have this dentist appointment or whatever's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Something's going on. I can still work up to this point. They're not looking to call off. They just want to get out based on what they have going on. Like that happens at work for everybody, like life. And hey, look, I saw you wanted to leave a little bit early. I have 3 days to find somebody to cover those 3 hours, but I need you tonight to stay over these 2. Can we call that even? Sure. And
see my profession pass.
I think some people struggle with that, and like it was fairly easy to me because I did care because I was doing the right thing by asking these questions, getting to know people, and when there were like conflicts and stuff like that, instead of them going with the most dramatic thought, hey, I'm just gonna quit or whatever. Hey, listen, can I talk to you? Break it down. Here's the issues, and then I come up with solutions based on what's going on. And like I think that's a trait of a good leader. They care.
I might say yes.
They show
that's
it.
Qualities of a good leader, right
knowing their people and what's going on. Hey, look, I'm not comfortable with this.
Right.
Not everybody's comfortable with everything, But knowing that, hey, listen, this person's way better at this. So if we just switch these 2, life's so much easier for the night.
Right.
Why watch 2 people struggle when we can switch those 2? It's golden.
Right.
But not everybody knows to do that because they don't know who they have with them.
Right.
And I think that's very important. Anything more to touch on that point? Just knowledgeable?
No, I think we can definitely establish knowledge as, one of the more important traits because, like, you got to know, what's going on and what's not. So I see in our notes here, we got communication.
And 2 explanation points upon that.
Yeah. 2. I can't see that far right now, but when I looked at it, I saw
it's
that.
A line dot. It is. They just vertically stack.
Oh, okay. Something different about this light today. I don't know what it is. I don't know if I got a twitch in my right eye or what's going on. I got hair in my eye. There's something going on. But no. So communication, like what is the basis of that for you?
Communication is everything.
Because I feel like you have to communicate
everything.
Everything you do in life, or else you're just gonna be sitting at a red light.
Yeah. Yep. Or a stop sign thinking it's gonna say go.
Been there.
That sign, like, again, hey, look, I'm gonna update you, and you're sitting at a stop sign. It's the same idea as red light, green light, but it never says go. It never turns green. That sign will never do the same thing a stop sign will. I feel like the light has communication. It tells you, hey, look, I need you to slow down because you about to stop. You stop. It turns orange and says, if you can get through by the time it turns red, you're good.
Yeah.
Communication is different.
If it turns red and your mirrors is past it, you cool.
Right. So that light for some people is orange. I feel like guys, because some guys are colorblind and they see colors different. They don't perceive colors. So for some of us, it's not yellow, it's orange.
Someone told me
and an orange light means if you can get through before you see red, you're good.
Someone told me if you in that situation and you were to get pulled over and they say, hey, do you know why I pulled you over? No, officer, I sneezed. I don't know what the hell happened.
This time of year is perfect for me because I got the allergies.
Oh, man. I started taking my Zyrtec. I don't like taking medicine.
I sneeze like in an 8-hour shift. I probably sneeze like 40 or 50 times and everybody just keeps looking at me. See, it's not COVID. This ain't even a symptom.
I don't sneeze that much no more. I just look like a special person walking around trying to scratch the roof of my mouth all day.
I only laugh because y'all used to make fun of me for that. My eyes be watering until they're just dried out.
Well, yeah, because you be walking around looking like Hitch.
Payback's a Hitch.
Right.
Tell me about it.
But
told you that allergy life ain't easy.
Yeah, I ain't about this life no more. I'm trying to figure out how to get rid of them. But
no, communication though. I feel like good leader would be like a stop light. Bad leader would be like a stop sign. Hey, I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna update you, and they never do, or they don't tell you anything anyway. I've been in situations where they give you the bare minimum, information, and expect you to run with it and kill it, and then when you don't do something or you don't know to do something, they get mad. And it's like, well, what do you mean? Well, you guys were supposed to do this, this, and this. That's not what my message said. You didn't say shit.
So what about the leaders who give you the bare minimum information on purpose to try to see where you're at, what's going on, see if if you've been progressing or anything like that?
I just think that's a bad leader.
It could be.
I feel like that's a bad way to test somebody. Now, if
it depends. If I told you what to do and I showed you and then I nonchalantly put you through that test.
That's different, but you communicated it before. So like the communication's been there.
Yeah, if I showed you what to do.
Okay, that's different. I'm taking your question as, what if I say, hey, someday next week, you're going to have to do something, go.
Well, that's very vague.
That's very bare minimum.
Yeah.
Versus like, hey, you've told them 3 or 4 times, now you want to see them do it on their own. And then you're not talking them through it that day because you've showed them multiple times. The communication has been had,
Right.
And I think a lot of jobs come with if-thens. So you can have 10 simple scenarios, the same scenario 10 times, and you go through it over and over and over, and you do it the same way every time.
Mm-hmm.
Number 11, you start to feel confident. Like, okay, I've got this mentor with me. I got this.
Right.
And you go to start to do something, they stop you and say, wait, what are you doing? They're like, oh, well, the last 10 times we just did it this way. They're like, we did, but why are we not going to do it this time?
Right.
And you're like, wait, I don't know. We just did it the same exact way. Every job is the same way, right?
That happens every time I go to Dunkin'. I think it's going to get made the same every day, and it's just not.
So if you're an electrician and you have, 10 jobs that are pretty similar, but the next job, you're not going to do something. Why? Okay, well, have you looked at the way the wiring's run? Have you looked at this? Have you looked at that? They do that without saying anything.
Right.
So they haven't, communicated that part. You've only seen what's been done.
Right.
And you say, okay, I'm going to do the same thing. Oh, no, this one's got, different precautions that you need to take based on what's going on.
Right.
Like, yeah, I see you're going to go fix that wire, but did you see that puddle of water right there? Now we're going to do things a little different.
Won't play.
Right. It's just the way things are done. It's an if-then in a lot of scenarios. So you have to communicate all of those. But if it's one of those situations that's very straightforward and you've showed them 3 or 4 times and now it's their time to shine and you don't say anything, I don't think that's not communicating. You've done that.
Yeah.
And me knowing you, because I feel like you're asking from your perspective, we say, hey, look, do you have any questions? I'd rather you ask me 1 million questions right now than say you know what you're doing.
Right.
And, then not know.
Yeah.
So one time, had a bad crash at the go-karts.
Oh.
They call me, they say, hey, look, car went...
Was it one of them times where if you just hit something, it's okay?
No.
No. Damn. I like those times.
Car went under the rail.
Oh, that's not good.
So there's a couple ways to fix that depending on how far the car goes under. So you got a big crowbar, basically, pry it open. You hold it, somebody else pulls the car.
Sorry,
Easy.
I think I was supposed to make a wish. My eyelash was on the cut.
I don't wish for it today, God.
Communicate.
Somebody say something. So, sometimes you can do that. Sometimes you got to use a car jack. So I told the one kid, hey, go get a car jack. Cool. He got it. A couple minutes later, he's like, I don't know where it's at. Do you know what it looks like? No. But when I told you to go get it, you said, okay, I got you. Like at that moment, you could have been like, hey, I don't know what it looks like. Cool. So I went and showed them. Okay.
You better than me. I'd have had him get his jack out of his car.
So we pull it out. I was like, hey, look, there's a leader that's, technically below me, but he's a leader. And then, people under him. So I looked at the leader and I said, hey, do you know how this works? He said, yeah, I do. I said, you sure? Yes, sir. Cool. I said, go ahead, jack that up. We're going to do this. And I'm going to show them as one team. We're going to work this out. That way everybody here knows how to do it.
Right.
You got to stop the ride anyway. Cool. So usually, you know how car jack works, right? Are you sure?
I mean, the constructions is right on the top.
So usually
that
part, comes up.
Yeah.
So the part that would be lifting the weight, he put away from the rail, and he put the bar up against the rail and started pushing it. I said, "What the hell you thought was about to happen?"
He said, "Mike, it ain't moving." I don't know what's going on.
What the hell you thought was about to happen? He was like, "Well, I don't know how this works." I asked you specifically, do you know how this works? I was like, is this a pride thing? Like you just feel bad in front of all of them?
Right.
And he's like, well, I mean, what do you mean? I was like, so if you said no, would you feel like you know less than what you think you should?
Right.
And he's like, yeah, I think that's it. I was like, well, here's the thing. Like you just drew out to everybody here that you have no idea what you're doing.
Damn thing.
Right. Instead of just telling me, hey, look, help me out. I've seen it before, but I don't quite remember. Or no, I don't know. I'm one of those people like, look, I have no idea what's going on if I've seen it 5 times. I have no idea what's going on. Show me again.
Right. Where's the constructions?
Well, the thing was he had to like crank the handle to the right anyway, then do it, lift it up. And I'm like, it's not hard, but if you don't know what you're doing, say that so I can show you. So I can show everybody right here, right now.
You know what's harder? Trying to pick that bitch up without Jack. you want to see hard? Yeah, go ahead.
My back. But like people won't admit that they don't know what's going on, and I feel like that makes it hard too. Mm-hmm. And that's a part of like knowing your team is like, this person says they can do it, but can they? Right. Until they show me, I don't hold them to it. Right. Because if my name's on something, I'm not vouching for you if you ain't got it. Like, I need to know.
Hard pass.
So
I train a lot of people at my job, and it's like supervisor asked, like, hey, do you think they can go and do it? I was like, I mean, they gonna call me a bunch, but if you need them to do it, like, I'm sure they could.
If you spell it out, yeah.
But I just want you to know if they call me, like, I'm working from home, which means like I'm on the clock. Like, somebody gonna have to pay me. Right. Or else I'm not answering the phone. Right. Even though I answer all the time.
Tell them to call the manager. They can start the clock and then call you on the 3-way.
Right.
They still got 3-way on the phones. You can call somebody else. Add a line.
You talking about like a regular phone? Like
remember back in the day? Or any phone. You got house phone?
I don't, but Nana can 3-way the shit out of somebody. That's one thing she can do. She can't send a picture on her cell phone. She can't, click over and try to call nobody on cell phone. But on her house phone, oh man.
Let me add Dorothy to that message.
I'm about to say, hold on, grandson. let me call real quick. Hold on.
Let him tell you what he was saying. I want to hear it though.
And then she confirms all parties are there. Okay, you here? Okay, you here?
Check, mic check.
Okay, y'all talk. I'm gonna put the phone down. Just put on speakerphone and walk away.
But yeah, I just back to communication. Everybody should be communicating.
Like Nana.
Like Nana. Talk to people. I feel like, again, I've been in so many situations where they expect us to communicate and say what's going on and they want to know. But then when you tell them, they don't do anything with it. And then when they know stuff, they hide it. And then you're supposed to just figure it out. Yep. And it makes the job so much more complicated. Like, just tell us what's going on. Right. And we can do our job. Like, and it's so hard. Or, if a leader doesn't give clear expectations of what's going on. Hey, this is what I need from you. And like, maybe you're sitting down in a meeting ahead of time and this is very urgent. Mm-hmm. We have this going on. We need this. And you don't express that same urgency to the team. They're not going to be urgent. They're going to be laid back like they usually are. Everything's normal. Yeah. You have to communicate that the urgency and what you expect. Right. That's very important. Or the other side, if somebody doesn't know something on the team, they should communicate that to the leader. Mm-hmm. What they're good at, what they're bad at, if they need help with something, if they have questions, everything should be communicated. There should be so much dialogue, like back and forth. There's just not. People are afraid to look bad. Right. And I don't even care. Like I said, if I've seen something done 5 times and just today I'm not feeling it, show me again. Show me one more time. Right. Call me stupid. I don't care. But I promise you, if you show me and I get it, for the next 8 hours, you don't have to worry about it.
Right. Like, we in there.
Unless there's the if-then situation where I come across something different. I'm like, hey, look, that didn't work out that way. I'm like, well, yeah, I probably should have told you. Got that a lot. Yeah. Got that so many times when something didn't go the right way. Probably should have told you.
So this now makes it your fault.
Right.
Not mine.
Right.
Yours. Just saying.
So, yeah. The probably should have told you is something as a leader that you should know ahead of time. You should know your team. You should know the job. You should, realize what's going on. And everybody has slips. Everybody has bad moments. But overall, that's on the leader.
So do you think it's a good trait as a leader to admit when you mess up?
Absolutely.
Because I know a lot of people in leadership positions that'll be like, man, I'm not sure what happened. Instead of anybody, listen, I forgot. I didn't, I got a lot of stuff going on. My bad. Sorry.
Because you expect your team to do the same. Yeah. Like,
which that's going to go into one of these other notes. So I'm really trying to read these notes, y'all, and Mike writes small, and I can't see, and it's damn light got my eye twitching. I feel like I got hit by a pimp. I don't know what's going on. But But I've been
got
trying
that stimmy check and still owe something.
I'm trying to tell you. So I've been trying to read it, but it's gonna lead into the next.
No,
next
I
thing.
think I would expect my team to be very clear. Hey, listen, I'm not feeling well today. And this is before COVID, before you could fake it.
Right.
Because right now you can get away with anything. My head hurt, but I might got the vid. I don't know. And then you just go home for the day, and it's okay. Like, it's okay.
Right.
No bullshit.
Right. Sneeze more than once.
You better finish throwing up, wipe off, and come on in because we got shit to do.
There's a spare toothbrush in there.
Did I say different world that we're living in right now?
Yeah.
But like you got food poisoning. Well, if you done threw everything out, you good, right?
Right.
No, like it's different. Oh, you feeling off or whatever. Like, let's take a couple days to yourself.
See, I know a lot of like leaders, they don't want to like admit.
You have to,
because
I think that shows that like
oopsied.
You're. I feel like in my lifestyle you don't oopsie. If you mess up, it's all the way with the F word up.
Yeah,
well. But. If
it's up, then it's up, right? Ain't that what they say?
It only go up from here, right? Better days.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like I would expect my team to say, "Hey, listen, I messed up," because something you might not catch right away because you're not watching them like a hawk. You got a team spread out. Hey, listen, I messed up. I did this. Let's fix it right away. Yeah. I don't know how to fix it, but I know I messed up. And then you're like, "Hey, look, I know what I'm doing. I can fix it in 30 seconds." Right. Or they don't say anything. Like,
Right.
I know I did, but I'm going to act like I didn't. And then it takes 5 days to fix the same screw up.
Right.
Or it gets more severe the longer it goes, depending on what the situation is.
Right.
Hey, look, I messed up. I did this. How do we fix it? How do I not do that again next time? I think that's very important.
I'm going to say my profession is tell me what happened.
Right. And
like, don't lie because I need to know. If I'm going to help you.
Right.
I need to know. If not, I mean, you're on your own.
Right, because I can't fix it if I don't know everything that happened.
Because I'm going to hit you with this emoji.
Blue shirt. Right. Blue shirt confused fellow.
Right. It is what it is. You try. So
I think it's important. So as a leader, I'm like, hey, listen, I'm so sorry. Right. I forgot to do that. Or, hey, look, I tried to, but I couldn't. I messed up. I did this. Whatever it was, I messed up. And here's how I'm going to fix it. Or I'm working on fixing it. But I messed up.
Right.
And that's whether I'm looking to the team or whether I'm looking up to the next person I report to. I messed up.
Right.
Because I'm human. And I feel like if the next person up can't admit when they messed up because, I'm too big and powerful or whatever, like, you're not human if you don't. Mm-hmm. Or that means you're not trying.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't make mistakes, if you don't fail in life, you're not trying. So that's a bigger failure than you just making some mistakes as you go.
Right.
Yeah,
you got to fail to learn. That's just life.
Thing, yeah.
But that goes into that point you got written on that paper over there.
Which one are you looking at?
Hell, I can't see. Lead by example.
Lead by example. So
what's that word next to it?
So that point is actually different. So I put team player for one bullet point and lead by example. I think those two go together.
Yeah.
So the one I put it next to, I was just writing and it came up to mind at the same time.
You gotta start scribbling stuff while you just sitting there drinking.
I wasn't even drinking. I was just writing.
I see the work paper.
I was at work when I wrote it. No, team player, lead by example. I think those are so important. And again, do anything that you would, and I wrote that somewhere else too. Look, right there. Anything that
right
you,
where?
Right here. Look at it.
I just want y'all to know. Look, I've been reading Mike's handwriting for a long time.
It's getting harder and harder.
I might say it's getting worse and worse little letters. I save paper. Worse.
So
I mean, he got the whole bottom of the sheet empty.
lead by example. Be a team player. Important stress point on that is, I would never ask anybody to do something that I haven't done already or that I wouldn't do.
Correct.
Like, I would never be like, hey, look, I don't really I don't want to do that job.
Wait a minute.
So I need you to do it for me.
Wait a minute, because there's some things that sometimes I need people to do that I haven't done or that I can't do.
But I'm saying willingly, like what you wouldn't do, not what you couldn't do.
Yeah, that what I wouldn't do. So like when we was painting my shutters and they was like, all right,
that's
Dre,
different.
We got to get up on this ladder and get the top ones. And I was like, fuck you. It's like, I'm not going up there.
Hey, Mike, could you go on the ladder?
I'm going to say, Mike, listen, You go up on ladders and roofs and stuff, right? Like, go ahead. So Mike got up there on that ladder and was taking stuff down and was, somebody went up and passed you stuff through the window.
Okay, that's different.
I bet you they won't come down until Mike get up there again.
All right. All right. So that was very, very specific.
Well, also in my profession, like going underground in certain situations.
Bob's Burgers.
I'm telling you, we gotta get some comfy chairs. We're gonna upgrade, y'all. We're gonna upgrade.
Need to sponsor.
But also in
12, where you at? 12.
Look at I want something built.
35, 15, 12, where you at?
That's the first time I ever knew what that number said. I can't see that far. Excuse me. It's bad. I know. So in my profession, there are certain I go underground sometimes. And I don't mind going underground. It's cooler down there. And
confined space.
Yeah, it's no one bothers me down there.
Are you confined space approved?
I am. I'm certified. I'm good.
Not through the job, the body.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Them hoes are made for dad bods. We're good.
Them hoes is made for me.
But it's certain areas that I'm like, yeah, I'm not going down there. And the reason, like downtown in them certain holes, there's creatures down there. And they're usually not friendly. So I'm
not like Ninja Turtles.
No, if it was Ninja Turtles, that'd be cool. But it's more like Master Splinter.
Just take a pizza with you.
Is that the rat?
I think so.
Yeah, Master Splinter be down there kicking it. And I'm not about that life. Can't bring that stuff home. Not getting back in the truck. I've been lost my appetite. Not about that life. But at the same time, if they was like, hey, we're going to send you out with 2 other guys. Like, this guy's new, show him the ropes. You guys are, downtown today. I'm like, my man, that vault right there, I need you to get down in there, get them numbers off that meter, and then come on back. He going to get down there like, what's them eyes looking at me? Never seen nothing like that before.
Is that a 7 or a 1? I don't know.
Right? Like,
should be 5 digits. Should be 5.
Like, it's just certain things that were like, if I would, for the majority of stuff, yeah, I'm not gonna send somebody to do something I haven't done. If I can help it, but there's certain stuff that
but I'm seniority
just like,
matters.
Yeah. Better you than me.
Right. I don't move.
I've seen somebody else do it. So
yeah. I mean, I guess like if you have somebody on your team that's able to do that, they don't care. It's
yeah.
Hey, go get those shutters. Cool. But just in a general thought, like if I'm at work or coaching or something like that, I've done all this stuff before. Like I'm not just torturing you out here.
Right.
It's, it needs to be done.
Right.
I would do it, or I have done it. It's been worse.
Right.
And even those situations that are like really bad, if I can, because, timing's everything. Like if you're working as chaotic, sometimes you can, sometimes you can't.
Right.
If I can, I'm going to do the job with you.
Yeah.
And it works for both of us because at some point, like you're going to do it and I have to double check it anyway.
Right.
But if we do it together, I can show you the right way. You can learn how to do it and I can make sure it's done right at the end.
So that makes a lot of sense to me.
It's like a boom, boom, boom right there.
Yeah, precisely. I'm eventually going to have to hire somebody to help me detailing cars because business is getting kind of crazy. And I'm getting a little tired. I'm here, I'm there, I'm everywhere. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. This 3 jobs plus this podcast. I got 2 kids. I got my other half. She's, she need help. I just got a lot going on. So in my head, I'm like, all right, when I'm trying to hire somebody, like, who am I going to hire that I can be like, all right, listen, this is how I do it. I'm not saying that you can't improve on it.
Right.
But at minimum, it should be how I do it. Like, that's like the minimum.
Right. And just a shout out to like everybody in the world that knows us. Just because we know you doesn't mean you get a pass.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Like,
we are not doing that.
This is a situation where like, me should not be your credibility. Me is not a resume.
No, not at all.
I know you when I don't like you.
Right.
Like there's a reason I haven't talked to you in 2 years. Like
right.
Me is not.
Ooh, we getting specific.
Hey, listen.
We getting specific.
I'm just, but like because I've had people. I don't own a business, so I haven't like given jobs, but I'm in a decent position where, hey, listen, I can put you on with the right people, whether that's in one of the places I work or not.
Right.
And, you know, because of who I am, my word matters a little bit. So, hey, listen, interview this person. This is what they can do, can't do.
Right.
Leader. I know who they are.
Right.
And are they going to be good at everything? No. This is what they're going to be really good at. This is what they need to learn.
Yeah.
Just had this conversation in a transition the other day. Hey, listen, hire this person. They don't know this, but this is what you can count on. They're going to be there every day on time.
Gotta show up.
Everything you show them, they will retain.
Yeah.
Whatever you need, they're going to be there for.
Right.
Availability's there. You know, you don't have to worry about this, and this. Boom.
Right.
But, and I stressed, you have to teach them this and this.
Mm-hmm.
I think that matters because, hey, look, you can't expect this of them. That's not where they're at.
Right.
But what your stress factors were and what you have already, you don't have to worry about any of that.
Right.
You know, you got somebody that'll be back tomorrow.
Yeah.
On time, doing the right thing. Show them.
If they didn't get the lesson that day, they can get it tomorrow because they're going to be
right.
here.
And it matters. And, you know, when people say, hey, look, you know, I know you need people. I got you. But I can work like Mondays, but like not after like Judge Judy.
I can be there like 5:15, not 5 though when I'm scheduled. And some days it might be closer to 5:30.
Right. And then like 6 o'clock, I kind of gotta be gone.
Right.
And then next week I'm not good for any day, but 2-3 weeks after that, I could work a Wednesday for 7 minutes.
Yeah, no pass.
I'm open. I'm available.
Right.
It's like, no. You know, like your resume should be more than you know me. So at this point, it's like, hey, listen, if I'm going to take it serious, I'm going to take you serious. Bring a resume.
Yeah.
And if you think that's too much because somebody knows you, you're in the wrong. You better have a resume printed out, get a little cover letter. Take it serious.
You know, I would also
take it serious.
Like to say your resume don't have to be extensive. It could just have schooling on it. You know, I don't need if you haven't gone through an experience, don't try to lie about it.
Oh, never lie. Never lie.
Don't put stuff on your resume and say like, oh man, you know, I got great customer service because I, you know, was at this job or whatever.
I fact check.
Well, that's what you kind of got to do these days.
And just because I will. Now, first of all, do they answer? Is it the same name to the number you gave me?
Right.
That matters. But if I feel like you've put it together well, I don't have to. But if you're trying to BS, I'm checking everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
So don't lie ever on your resume. Be good with words, you know.
Right.
Get you with the thesaurus and learn how to, you know,
right,
embellish a little bit.
My the one thing when I do hire somebody, I am kind of excited about like my whole interview process. So I'm one of them people where I'm trying to
say your name Reggie.
I'm trying to be like
get to work in my company.
You know, so if I was like a professor and you know I was teaching like a college class or whatever, and everybody was walking in, I will walk in and just sit in the seat next to somebody. So in this case, if I said like, hey, you know, I've got this interview today with you, but I'm kind of running, you know, behind. I got to pick up something from this place. Can you just meet me here?
Right.
And then, you know, we'll wrap there. And then just come up and randomly start talking to him without disclosing who I am.
Man, I got this shitty ass interview in 20 minutes.
Right.
I don't even want this job. I just got to have something for the parole board.
And right. What did him say?
Not with my chemicals.
Right.
Not today.
But I want to do stuff like that because I want to get a sense of, you know, when you at work, it's got to be somewhat enjoyable. You got to be, you know, cohesive with people. You know, you gotta be a certain type of person to do the kind of work that like I do. So I'm just like, all right, like I gotta fill you out before you know exactly what it's for. And hey, at the end of it, I might buy you a beer.
So like one of my jobs,
company expense, of course.
Get you a card.
Right.
So like one of my jobs, like I said, when I detailed trucks back in the day, I knew the guy who was in charge of that area pretty well ahead of time. So like he knew me. Hey, do you want to work? Absolutely. He already knew everything. Basically, my resume had already walked in the door by the time he knew me.
Right.
there were no questions. And he would give me a super hard time. It's like 100 degrees outside. I'm dying inside of one of these trucks. There's no air conditioner. I'm outside.
Yeah.
He's like, my grandmother could do this job better. I was like, you better come get her to show me how to do it then.
Right.
Like, let her know. Come
Bring
on.
Granny
Bring
on
Granny
down.
up here. I'll get her a step ladder. She can help me with the other side of this truck because this is no joke.
Right.
And then he'd be like, oh, no, seriously. Like, what do you want to eat? And like, by us was like McDonald's. And I don't know how this restaurant still survives these days, but Long John Silver. There's one of those over there and a couple other ones. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they still hanging in there.
Them and Arby's.
It's like, the only one though. That's probably why.
Yeah. And I was like, I don't know. Like, I guess McDonald's. I don't really care. Like, whatever. He's like, McDonald's. Like, what? I got steak in the freezer. Like baked potatoes. Like, what do you want?
Right.
I was like, oh, that works. He's all right, cool. We're about to fire up the grill, finish the truck, and like when you're done, whatever. And like, to me, that was cool. I didn't expect any of that. That was a surprise.
Right.
And honestly, I would have went the rest of the shift working and just not ate, but it was a good surprise.
So, as a leader, can you tell the difference between somebody who, like wants a job and will be like a good employee, versus somebody who's like needs it, but a lot of people haven't given that person a chance? Because I feel like I come across that, like when I interview for my other job, I feel like I come across that a lot.
That comes with experience on both knowledge of the job and knowledge of people.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've ever had
a people person,
if y'all
don't know by now, Dre is a people person.
If you've ever been in a situation like you already know the job well,
mm-hmm.
but how well do you know people? And because everybody can feed you that story of, man, like, woe is me and life is so hard and this, that, and the other.
Oh,
yeah. So sad.
Oh, woe is me.
For some people it genuinely is, and some people they just don't care. Whatever. Yeah. And for those people, it's like, this is going to be a continuation, but some people can't read between the two.
Yeah.
So there's like 5 questions you can ask people, and you can kind of break down one way or the other.
Right.
And it doesn't even matter what they answer. It's like how they answer. It's like, well, right. Okay, first of all, you're done.
Pause.
Genuinely this happened versus like, let's see how, dramatic we can get with it.
Right.
But I feel like if you know the job well enough and you learn people, and then like you see the turnover rate in jobs, like that you've had and why people aren't there anymore, you kind of learn personality traits and like red flags. Hey, just kind of like dating. Like, hey, listen, this isn't what I'm looking for in somebody to be with. Also, like, this job suit doesn't work well with these personalities, and like this issue and this, that, and the other.
We got an arch. We can't do it. It's just, it is what it is. No, can't be stomping all around. Can't be stomping.
So you learn. Like, I think as a good leader, knowledgeable in both aspects, you can see the difference, between somebody who just hasn't had that shot yet.
Yeah.
And they're willing to work for it versus somebody who, is just applying and doesn't care, or they're not going to work hard. I think you can see the difference.
Because, like, so you coach kids, and I feel like that's kind of like where it starts with kids, because so as you grow up, you learn, you fall into a certain genre, not genre, but you've heard, certain groups of kids, and that's the other. And I didn't want to be too ethnic because it ain't all about your clique. I listened to that song earlier.
I think it's just a high school clique, or middle school. But like, I think you're too young in elementary and middle school to like be a clique. Everybody's just there,
right?
And then
but
high
that's
school,
what I mean.
Like, branch out and you think you know who you are.
Yeah. So like, but you always got like, so in like younger kids, you got that kid that's like kind of shy, don't say much, and everybody think he's like weird or she's weird, or they kind of just do their own thing. But then like come Christmas pageant or a talent show, she fucking sang like Lil Whitney Houston, and you like,
well, I didn't know that because you didn't take the time to get to know them.
Right. So, but that follows them.
Yeah.
And they always have been seen as like that person. So when they become an adult, it's always like, all right, I feel like there's something about you that's like untapped potential.
Yeah.
But like for me, I don't know, like I can tell like by talking to people, but at the same time, like I get like a feeling about people.
I think, yeah. So I've been in many situations, I should say, like you ask somebody to do a task, and then they just sit there and they look at you and like, okay. It's like, well, I meant like right now. Go do it right now.
Right.
Like this very second when you're standing here, you should be like doing the task.
Right
now. And they just kind of look at you like, okay. No, go do it.
Right.
And then some people, you tell them to do something and they go do it right away. And then when they're done with that, they have no initiative. So they don't do the next step. They just stop and then they go stand there. And then when you go tell them to do the next thing, they go do the next thing and they do it to standard. They do exactly what you want, but they have no initiative. Though, like the first group, they're screwed. Like those people that just stand there and look at you, they're not never. It's going to take a while for them to learn.
Right.
They have some learning to do as far as like, or maybe that's just not the right suit for them.
Right.
They need a new job where like they're actually interested, where like they want to go do something.
Right. They're
just forced into this situation. That's that group.
That reminds me of that Life Jennings video. Hypothetically, you ever seen that?
If I have, it's been a while.
So
Life Jennings has been a while for everything.
Oh man,
I ain't seen Life Jennings since like
this is off CD 203192, whatever his prison number was. But Cat Williams was like, God says hello, Jesus says, why are you not on your mission?
Anything Life Jennings was before 2010.
Yeah, that's my dude though.
But so like the middle group is those people that you tell them to do something. They go do something and they do it within the right time frame.
Right.
They do it the right way. They follow, all rules. Everything's done.
Yeah.
But when they're done, they just stop and they either go talk or they go stand there. They're there. They exist. And until they get the next rules, jobs, whatever,
right,
they do nothing. So like those people they're not going to be leaders no time soon anyway.
Right.
Could they learn? I think there's like a trait in people that like you're either a leader or you're not.
Mm-hmm.
It would take these people a long time to learn that, in my opinion. Then there's people that, hey, listen, can you go do this for me? And they're like, yeah, cool. They go do that. And while they were doing that, they saw something else that needed to be done. Mm-hmm. And they're like, hey, listen, we've been doing this a certain way, but I think we could do it a little bit better. Also, while I was doing this, I saw this needed to be cleaned. So I cleaned that too. And then I did this. And I think that mindset, like, cool. Can you teach other people that?
Right.
Because you have that young leader mindset already.
So while we on this specific topic, I kind of want to take this chance and shout out our dear friend Brenda.
Miss Brenda. Another shout out, 100%.
Recently just opened her own insurance agency. Like she's got her own office, her own, this, that, and the other. She the boss.
And she has high school kids like working for her, don't she?
Yes.
So
who are also they're in school for like their insurance.
But I think that's cool though, because like they know where they want to be, right, and like she's giving them that opportunity. And I think if they're willing to work for it and it works for her, I think that's amazing.
Now, if you knew Brenda in high school, Brenda would never on time. Brenda would get work done, but once it was done, that was it. Yeah. Brenda was like, okay, we about to just talk and we about to kick it. Like we ain't doing nothing else. That's it. Yeah. But over time, Brenda has grown to be an amazing individual. She's very caring and inspiring, and
100%.
She definitely, like you were talking about, like the high school kids that work for her, like they're in school to do what she's doing.
But the fact that like high school Brenda was high school Brenda, and it wasn't a bad person, but it was like high school Brenda.
Oh no, I love high school Brenda.
High school Brenda wasn't probably projected to be where she's at right now, and look at her go.
Right.
So like, I think that's amazing, and the fact that she can reach back and help people in high school because she knows what it's like to be there.
Right.
And
Yeah. I just also want to say, I really hope that by now, Brenda, in the wintertime, you let your windshield defrost and not just color a circle. Ma'am, so that you can see
it is
out your side, because my side matters, okay?
2021, you got remote start. I know you do.
I really hope. If you don't,
she does.
Just start that car and just let it run for half hour. That's what I do.
She's got remote start. She has.
But shout out to Brenda.
If you got
was a very great
any
example.
Insurance needs, 100%.
Absolutely. Brenda definitely looks out. Brenda insures my house. So.
I'm gonna have to find out her information to put it onto the Facebook page.
Yeah.
I doubt she has a YouTube, but I get her Facebook page going.
I know she might. She's been doing big things, advertising and whatnot. So I stopped up and saw her. Congratulations on the the new office and everything, and just keep doing what you're doing.
I still remember. I think it was Anchor's baby shower. and they had the little contest, and she had to feed me out a baby bottle. Me and Brenda did not win. She got so mad at me. I think she smacked me in the back of the head twice.
Yeah. I feel like she said something to you.
I didn't know what she said.
She said something to you, and you was like, Brenda, I don't speak Spanish. She was like, I know.
I don't drink out of a baby bottle neither.
Oh, man.
I was not made to win that race.
No. But no, that was
a good time.
I feel like that's a good example of somebody who wasn't exactly on, you know. But
and in a joking way, because like it was, I mean, it's a great come up. Like,
oh yeah,
you know, just the way things changed, I love it. You know, seeing stuff like that when she first posted it,
right,
loved it.
Yeah, I was like, oh man, is she in my area? I said, I gotta stop by.
We just gotta get her a jingle going. I think that's our next goal, is just make her a jingle.
Oh, we could do jingles
like State Auto or the General. We just gotta like.
I guess I'm Shaq. I'll be damned.
And so it begins, folks.
Yep.
So as far as like team player, leading by example, any other points on that?
I mean, no, I think that's it. What else you got in this?
So another one of my points was honest, but I think that goes back to the point where you asked if you messed up, you know, is it okay to say? I think you should, 100%. I think anytime a leader messes up, they have to hold that responsibility.
Yeah.
Because clearly there was a mistake.
Yeah.
You know, whenever you're in that situation, it's clear that something didn't go right. As a leader, what do? Do you act like you didn't realize it happened? Do you point the blame at somebody else? Or do you take the leader stance and say, hey, listen, I messed up. It won't happen again. I got you.
Now, what if your job on the line?
Are you fit to do the job if you couldn't do it in that situation?
So
give me an example of what the job is, how you messed up.
All right. So
if you messed up, if you genuinely messed up and that cost you your job, it's probably for a reason.
So in my profession, there are a million little things you could do that could cost you your job.
Okay.
And it's not because they're the wrong things to do.
Not always the case.
It's because there is an over assortment of like safety stuff. So for example, if you're on a job and there's something that you could do that's not really required. Yes, it's not required for you to do it, but you could do it just to be safer.
Recommended, not.
Yeah.
You know.
So it's you know, it's not required by your job, but it could be, you know, something you could do extra to.
Recommended, not required.
Yeah, to be safer.
Gotcha.
But now it's somebody else might get, you know, I don't know the right term. Something bad could happen to someone else.
Okay.
And in my profession, a lot of times bad things do happen.
They can, yeah, 100%.
And it's no one's fault. It's just you're working on old stuff. You're messing with old stuff. You're trying to just do the best you can with what you have. And that's the danger of the job. But if you would have done that one thing that was recommended, not required, it could have helped that person. Now, is the person who could have done that one thing, are they, you know, any less of a leader? Are they like a bad person now?
So the bad thing happened.
Bad thing happened. That person, you know, made it out, this, that, and the other. But now everybody's making this person out to be like, oh, well, why didn't you do that? Because that would have saved that person a whole lot of issues. It's like, okay, well, I could have done that. Anybody could have done that, but it's not required for me to do that. But that person could still lose their job for that.
So
there's a very fine line in my profession.
No, I get that. And it goes across the board. There's multiple professions like where that happens. And usually right after that, guidelines change.
Always.
So there's a couple things that happen in that scenario regularly. One, the person in charge gets terminated. And two, guidelines change after that. I don't think that's right that they got terminated because as a company, hey, listen, this is what we stand by. This is what we expect. Here's how we do what we do to make sure nothing happens. And if what we do to make sure nothing happens, like if that it's not on that list,
right,
then you as a company you can't say we expected more.
Right.
No. You wrote down your mission statement, your guidelines,
yeah,
what you guys do, what you teach.
Right.
You write that down clearly.
Yeah.
Like when, especially because like you're this big company, like where safety matters.
Yeah.
Everything's printed very well on your
right,
website everywhere you go.
Right.
So they make this decision. Hey, yeah, we think things should have been done differently, and we terminated this person, and we mandated this, this, and this. Why didn't you mandate it before?
Exactly.
I think that's on the company. I think it's wrong that the leader gets terminated.
Exactly.
And it's a shitty situation all the way around because everybody has to live with what happened, except the people like, really high up that are making this decision later. We're like, oh, we're gonna do this.
Right.
Those people don't care.
No.
If they cared, they would have made that a mandate before.
Right.
But for the leader in that situation to watch one of his team go down, guy, girl, whoever,
right,
one of his people go down,
so that's not fun.
That sucks for them because they feel guilty for everything already, even though it wasn't mandated. They still feel guilty for it, and the person that went through it knows it wasn't this person's fault, but like now their life just changed forever,
right?
Usually,
mm-hmm.
And even if not physically, at least mentally, where every time they're in a situation similar now, that goes through their mind.
Yeah.
But I think as a leader in that situation, the best thing you can do is talk to the person that's going to be in that job and say, hey, listen, here's the risks of what you're going to do. Here's the best safety we can provide you.
Right.
This is what you have to do, and this is what you could do.
Right.
And as long as you have that communication every time, both parties know where we're at. Hey, listen, I would prefer you to do this. I understand why you don't want to.
Right.
But here's the risks and here's the safety precautions. I think if you do that, you're still going to feel guilty at some point. If you're a good person, you're still going to feel guilty. But I think that's the best way to go about the situation.
I mean, so in my profession, we know the risks. Like we have to.
Just reminding them every time.
But it's more of a so I could be down underground doing everything right, and
something still go wrong.
A lot of people don't know, when you're underground, you're working with water makes noise.
Yeah.
When it's restricted, water, it gets louder. So when you're downstairs and you're working on stuff that's 100 years old or even 50 years old, working on stuff, you go to tighten something. You're moving metal that ain't been moved in however many years.
A long time.
And I'm one of them overly cautious people when I'm underground.
100%. Or anywhere, but
if I hear a psst, what was it?
State your name.
And I'm hooked up safety wise, so I got this thing hooked to me. So everything, if I hear something, I'm like, hey, shh, just making sure we still good.
Right.
If she let loose, I'm out.
We gone.
These are some beautiful pipe wrenches down here. Nice hammer, nice flashlights, and 15 by 16. It's down here. It's not coming out.
It ain't worth it.
Right. But it's, you know the risk when you go down, but it's still, I don't like how some companies can place the blame on certain things. In my head, I feel like, all right, we got to blame somebody.
100%.
And I feel like that is false in a lot of situations. Not every situation, but in a lot of situations, all right, well, you don't have to blame somebody. It's an unfortunate incident that happened, and we're going to do better as a company and as a team to make sure it doesn't happen again.
Yeah. And
I don't have to serve somebody up on a platter well, somebody's head got to roll for this.
Unfortunately, all those situations have a fall guy.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of fall guys.
Yeah. Well, we both knew one that, worked in a situation for a concert and couldn't place people everywhere.
Right.
And because of that, there was a tragic accident there.
Yeah.
And, for him, that was never a situation that should have came up.
Right.
And all of a sudden, he took the fall for everything else, and everybody's like, listen, we did the best we could. Did they? That starts at the top.
Especially considering not having enough people was a common theme there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And a situation like that whole situation was just all bad. But you know, if you again, it starts at the top. Like, let's lead by example. Right. You know, those same people. And I heard somewhere like, hey, listen, if you own a company like a little bit big, say you own like a 10-car garage for a mechanic shop, whatever, you own it. So you're not working on cars anymore. Right. You just own it, and you know, you sign the paychecks, whatever. It's like, hey, what's the first thing you can do to gain the respect of everybody else? Go grab a broom and start sweeping. First of all, everybody's gonna break their necks and they're gonna quit doing their job for like 30 seconds. Right. Like, oh shit, like, is that the owner? Like, he's sweeping. Right. But at the same time, like, hey, listen, I'm invested in this too. Like, it's my company. Everything I have is on the line here. Right. I care about it. I care about you guys. I'll do some of the work too. You know, just go sweep, go clean the floor. You know, show that you're not, you know, non-existent. Yeah. And I think that's important. You know, just lead by example again, and go do some of the work. Yeah. You know, show them, do it with them. And like I said before, when you do it with them, you are expressing what you need done at one time. You're making sure they do it the right way, and they understand it as they go. So now they can do it on their own the next time. Exactly. And at the end of it, you know it's done right. You don't have to double check their work because you just did it with them. Right. Like, it's all, or, you know, correct them as they go. Hey, they did one little thing wrong, but hey, real quick, you know, if you did this either wrong, do it this way next time, or you did it right, but to do it a little bit more efficient next time, you can do this too. If
you want to save yourself a little
open
time,
up that arsenal. Better, yeah, 100%. And you don't have to do that too many times per person. Right. Like, but if they're not doing something right over time, it would take so much more time and resources to fix everything they did wrong. Right. Because you played no part in that, you know, growth. Exactly. And I think that's shitty.
What else we got in this thing here?
So I said,
is that about it, or?
I said, you know, got to be the caring, honest. I think those are things. Reliable. As a leader,
really trying hard to read Mike's handwriting, y'all. Sometimes
I think as a leader, you got to be reliable. You know, I've had plenty of leaders.
Kinda.
Oh, no, not kind of. You have to be reliable, and if you're not,
when you say reliable, like, do you mean like you got to be there, or you got to be like you got to answer your phone when I call?
I mean, you have to do what you say you're gonna do.
Okay. So yeah, absolutely.
So if it depends on the dynamic, because every situation is a little bit different. Yeah. The ladder looks different. Right. So sometimes you're in a position where you may not, like, I, you know, have been places where you never see the owner. Mm-hmm. You know, so the owner is non-existent. Who's next? Who's next? Who can you actually get a hold of? Right. Who is held accountable to what you're doing? Right. 100%. So in that case, or, you know, different situations, the case I'm talking about, like, just be reliable. What are you going to be held to? Hey, listen, if you need anything, call me. I have an open door policy. Right. Come in anytime you want to. That works really well if you're in your office regularly. If you're never in your office,
don't work out too good.
It doesn't help me to be like, hey, listen, anytime you need to, come on in, we can talk. Right. But you're never here. I don't see you. You know, hey, listen, I'm going to run through, make sure all this stuff is good. I'm going to check up on that for you. Yeah. I'm going to see if this is, you know, in progress. I'm going to check on this, and I would get back to you. Right. If you don't get back to me, like, that's not reliable. Right. You know, so now what do? Do I throw you under the bus? Because now you're going to come right back and throw me under the bus. Exactly. So how do you call yourself a good leader if you're not reliable? If I can't call you for help, or, you know, I've been in situations where, like, you're the leader of this whole group, but you've never done this job before. Yeah. So you don't know how to lead. Like, you don't even know what we're actually capable of doing. Right. So realistic expectations aren't there. Exactly. Like, how do you know what to expect of us if you don't know what we're capable of doing? Right. And that goes as far as, like, you know, the resources that we have.
Oh, my Zyrtec's wearing off.
If you say we can do 15 things in 1 hour, and based on resources we can only do 8, you're promising people a whole lot of shit that can't get done. Exactly. So you need to know what we're capable of, what we need to expand. You need to know all that shit. Like, you need to understand all of this before you can be up here. Right. I think.
Oh, absolutely.
And that, you know, you're not reliable. Like, hey, listen, I called you 10 times and sent you 2 emails. You never replied. Right. Yeah, well, I was at a family barbecue. yeah, I would like to be at a barbecue too, but we both have the same job. Right. You just have the capabilities of going out and, not doing your job. And I think that's wrong. So, let's figure this out. So you have to be reliable as a leader. And that doesn't, for some jobs, that's 24/7.
Yeah.
If you took on a job where that's what your pay is and you're always expected to have that company phone and you have to be available all the time, that's your job. So
I'm not about that life. I got office hours.
But some jobs are different. Like leadership jobs are different.
I used to say you got to contact me during bullshit hours.
Reliable is reliable. So what can I count on you for? So don't sell me on
my voicemail being always acceptable.
So don't say, hey, listen, anytime before 10 p.m. you can call me and then only answer till 5.
True.
You are reliable during your time period. Like, hey, listen, I'm only available this time to this time, but I can get back to you, whatever. Right. Now, with special circumstances, if you expected something, crazy situation coming up and you're like, say you hired somebody and they're working on a car and they may have issues and they say, hey, listen, I may have to call you. You're going to be available for that.
Yeah.
Special circumstances are a little bit different, but that's still reliable.
Right.
Versus, hey, you can call me anytime, this, and this. But then when you do, they're not available. You can't get a hold of them.
Right.
You have to make the decision on your own. Then you get yelled at for what you decided when it was their call and they weren't there.
That's when you call the gas company and they be like, if you smell gas, press 1. That's the old shit button.
All right. I called one time and I had plans anyway, but there was 2 big factors in my mind. I smell gas. Might explode. I said, hey, listen, here's the address. I smell the gas. Stand in the front yard. You should send somebody. They said, stay there until somebody arrives. Could be up to 4 hours.
Hell.
I said, ma'am, you sound stupid. I got plans. It could explode, and they could take 4 hours. The hell you think I'm about to do?
I'd be like, what kind of time are we looking at if I say I'm about to light a cigarette?
Right. By then, I can smoke 2 packs. I don't even smoke.
Right.
But shit, in the neighborhood, somebody could.
Exactly. Yeah, that's crazy.
Stay there until they show up. Hell no.
That's like the one time I saw an accident and called 911 and it was like, well, is the driver of the car okay? I said, later, I don't know. He back there somewhere on the freeway. He just ran into the wall and bounced back.
I'm telling you what happened. We're different now.
Well, is he breathing? Well, I don't know. I'm gone.
I've had calls where like I tell them, hey, listen, they're breathing. They told me their name. This is, this and this. They told me all this information. Well, is he breathing? Ma'am, I just told you we had a conversation for 5 minutes. I think he's still breathing.
Right.
I also told you he was breathing, but...
Right. They got to go down their list. I get it.
I understand 100%. It, but you should have checked those things off as I said them.
Right.
Is he conscious? He's still replying. No.
He just texted me. Oh, man.
But anything else, good leader, bad leader? Because their bad leaders matter too.
Do they?
They matter. We got to get them out.
I don't know if we should waste time on a bad leader. I mean, so a bad leader is just the opposite of everything, that we said. Man, we really got to get some more comfortable chairs. I think it's contributing to my.
I mean, if you got a bad leader who doesn't care, who doesn't lead by example, doesn't lead at all, doesn't make anything clear, doesn't know the job. Let me emphasize that one more time. Does not know the job at hand. So therefore can't lead anybody.
Right.
I think they got to be gone, man. You just,
thank you for coming.
As a bad coach, like think of it coaching wise.
Thank you for coming.
You got somebody who's played soccer their whole life. No disrespect, they shouldn't be coaching basketball.
No.
Because they didn't focus any of their time. They they don't know the sport. I can't coach football. I played football a lot, but I grew up with basketball. So I can play football. I can't coach it. Can't coach baseball. A lot of drills and stuff. I would have no idea what to do. And I respect that.
I'm sorry, y'all party foul.
I respect everybody for what they're doing. So, if you know it, you know it. And I think that's great, man. Be a great leader. Mm-hmm. Communicate. Let them know what's going on. Tell them. Communicate.
Right. Absolutely.
Be honest when you mess up or when you don't know what's going on.
Own that shit.
Sometimes I don't. And I'm expected to do the same shit.
Right.
So, I think just, leadership, man, it's important.
You got to be a good leader, man. It's just.
And whether that's, like I said, coach, parent, owner of a company, y'all got to know what's going on.
Absolutely.
Because if not, y'all about to lose out.
Right above it, detailing. We here.
But yeah, for car needs as far as insurance, hit up Brenda. I'm gonna find out the Facebook information and try to get it on this post right above it, detailing.
Always.
We have a website now. We can add that too.
We do have a website now.
And 1212. Y'all better talk to me, man. I told you about
shout
it.
Shout out to 1212.
I'm trying to give them a shout out. They won't let me know what to say. So
my roof got completed today, so Dre's a happy man. Thank you so much.
So I would love to give them a great shout out righteously, but they won't write the skit for me. Shane, get your shit together.
He can't hear you.
I'm gonna put it in the subtitles. Shane, get your shit together.
Closed captioning.
But again, if you guys have any requests on what you guys want to hear us talk about, honestly, we're gonna tell you the way we see it. And
cheers on the way out this go on. I think we got cheers in and cheers out.
Cheers in, cheers out. I hope you guys have a great week. Like I said, anything you guys want to hear about, let me know. Any questions about the detailing or anything, for sure put that in the comments.
Absolutely.
Share. Yeah. Share this, share that. If you guys want, topics, name something thrown out there, let us know. We're good leaders. That's what we are. We're good leaders.
I feel like we need to throw like a contest or something out there.
Ooh, contest coming soon.
I'm thinking of something. I got something in the works. You're gonna help though.
Oh, for sure. I'm here for it. Hope you guys are here for it. Details pending. Got to keep it secret, right?
Absolutely.
So
it's coming.
To be continued. Hit us up on the next show. Everybody, have a great night. Ow.